First, we go to Mexico, where the swine flu has become the biggest threat to public health at the moment. Authorities say the outbreak of swine flu may have already claimed 103 lives in the country. 22 of those deaths have been confirmed. Li Ying has more details.
A very unusual greeting is in store for international visitors and returning Mexicans at the capital city's international airport.
And now we come back to the surprise of the flu epidemic. As a protective measure, we put a surgical mask on my son and we try to stay away from public places to avoid possible infection.
Back in the city, the streets look much quieter than usual. Surgical masks are being distributed in many parts of the city as part of the preventive measures. Out of precaution, people are avoiding public gatherings and many are staying at their homes for entertainment. In this city, famous for its football culture, even popular teams like the Boomers and the Chivas have had to play in an empty stadium. Under government recommendation against large gatherings, football fans are not on hand to cheer for their favorite teams. And the Education Ministry has ordered all institutions, from nurseries to universities, to close in the affected areas until May 6th. The Mexican President Felipe Calderón is reassuring his countrymen that the situation is being properly handled and there is no need to panic.
We're talking about a serious but curable disease, especially if it is caught in time. In Mexico, we have the medicine to handle all the cases that may occur. This is very important. The illness is curable and we have the medicine for it.
The president said that more than 900 of the nearly 1,400 infected people have been declared healthy and discharged from hospital. And the remaining patients are still under close watch in hospitals. The CCTV.
And it's not just in Mexico. More human swine flu cases have been found in some other countries. So far, 20 cases have been confirmed in the US. Canada has also discovered 6 cases. Meanwhile, there are also people displaying symptoms similar to the influenza in Spain, New Zealand and the UK. As the virus continues to quickly spread, the world is going on high alert. As Li Xiang reports, global health officials are trying to come up with uniform ways to battle the influenza.
Canada became the third country to confirm human cases of swine flu on Sunday. Health officials say the 6 Canadian cases in Nova Scotia and British Columbia all had links to people who had traveled to Mexico. They say the 6 people have recovered, but say more cases will likely emerge in the country. Health officials are urging people to take various pre-actions, including frequent hand washing. They also say they will take whatever actions are necessary to protect the public.
We do expect there to be more cases, and that's why we've got our surveillance system continuing on high alert to be able to detect those, and I think all countries actually have established that.
Also on Sunday, the United States declared a public health emergency. Officials say the swine flu virus has been found in New York, California, Texas, Kansas, and Ohio, but no fatalities have been reported. Meanwhile, New Zealand says 10 school pupils just returned from Mexico are likely to have contracted swine flu. Officials in the country handed out leaflets at the airport in Auckland, warning passengers arriving from the U.S. about the swine flu threat.
Yes.
The contact information and trip details of travelers were collected to be able to treat them in case of an infection. There are also suspected cases found in European countries, including Israel and Spain. In response to the spread of the virus, some nations have also issued travel warnings for Mexico and the U.S. and tightened rules on pork imports. A senior World Health Organization official says the agency's emergency committee will meet for a second time on Tuesday. The meeting is scheduled to examine the spread of the virus before deciding to step up the alert as a possible pandemic or global epidemic. Li Xiang, CCTV.
A senior World Health Organization official said Sunday that the agency's emergency committee would meet for a second time on Tuesday. They are scheduled to examine the extent to which a deadly swine flu strain has spread and to consider whether to raise the global pandemic alert level.
And WHO and the countries which are being affected by this, and certainly I think all countries are looking at this situation very seriously. But it's also clear that we are in a period in which the picture is evolving. It is also clear that we are in a period in which we have to be very careful to collect the best possible information.
The WHO's emergency committee is still trying to determine exactly how the virus has spread. Raising the pandemic alert phase could entail issuing specific recommendations to countries on how to contain the disease. So far, the WHO has only urged governments to step up their surveillance of suspicious outbreaks. The WHO called the outbreak a public health emergency of pandemic potential, since the virus can pass from human to human. The organization is also considering whether to issue non-binding directions on travel and trade restrictions and even on border closures. Experts from the Chinese Academy of Inspection and Quarantine say China has the technologies to detect the H1N1 swine flu virus. They also say the country is taking measures to prevent the dangerous disease from entering the country. The General Administration of Quality Supervision, Inspection and Quarantine has issued an emergency notice requiring people to report flu-like symptoms at the point of entry when coming from affected areas.
Well, China's General Administration of Quality Supervision, Inspection and Quarantine has issued an emergency notice. It requires people to report flu-like symptoms at the point of entry when coming from swine flu-affected areas. Also, health checkups are being conducted at port areas like Guangdong. Liu Ming has more.
All tourists coming from the American continent are required to have temperature detection at the Shenzhen Entry Hall of southern China's Guangdong province.
Various measures have been taken to prevent swine flu infection. All working staff here are on high alert.
Mexican and U.S. spies at the Guangzhou Canton Fair are scrutinized carefully and are under constant monitoring. On the other hand, many people are still buying pork in spite of the swine flu, but they say they will buy it only at large supermarkets. Local inspection and quarantine authorities say that no imported pork is on sale in Guangdong. China's Ministries of Health and Agriculture say they are closely monitoring the development of the situation. Liu Ming, CCTV.